Hi, welcome, and thank you for coming to mediation. My name is Damiana. I'm going to be a mediator as well as my co-mediator, Nee. We just want to commend you both for coming in today and taking that step towards a more positive resolution. So thank you both for doing that. There are a lot of benefits for mediation. Less time in court, just less time in general, and it's really up to both of you to how this will pan out. So everything is completely in your hands. And today the job of myself and my co-mediator, our job here is just to facilitate communication between the two of you. We will be completely unbiased, and we're just here to just help reach a better understanding for both of you. I would also like to stress that confidentiality is key here. So anything that is said or happens in this room stays in this room. Unless you guys both want to waive confidentiality, then my co-mediator and I can draft an agreement for that. And then also I just would like to say that both of you guys have set 2 hours aside for this mediation. So if you have any conflicts that come up, just please let us know, and that way we can work through something. And then I'm going to let my co-mediator describe the rest.
Okay. So I just wanted to thank both of you guys for willing to come to mediation. It's important to have good faith and voluntariness. If we didn't have either one, we wouldn't be able to proceed with mediation. It's important to come here with an open mind, just like having like the ability to listen to one another. And so what I'm going to do is describe the steps of mediation. So first, we're gonna invite each of you to share your side of the story, and doing this will help all of us gain a better understanding of all the issues that's going on right now. And after that, so we're just gonna continue discussing that, and if we feel comfortable looking into the future, we can start brainstorming and negotiating. Hopefully, at the end, we can draft an agreement. And during all of this, there may be a time where we call a caucus. A caucus is simply like a one-on-one mediation with me and my co-mediator, Damiana. If like emotions are feeling high, or you have something private that you would like to discuss without the other party being aware, you can go ahead and call a caucus anytime. Whatever happens in a caucus is confidential unless you allow us to waive the confidentiality, and then we can share with the other party once they come back. I also want to mention that it's crucial to treat each other with respect. That way we can only keep progressing instead of taking steps back. So when the other party is speaking and you have any thoughts or objections, I suggest just making a mental note and just saving it once we get back to you. So far, do you guys have any questions? Okay, how about Mr. Hanson? Why don't we have you start?
Okay, so let me start by talking about the letter. I got a letter from her, and it has a lot of really accusing and questioning, like what our roommate, his Croatian and everything. So we had him about 2 weeks ago, and he started coming to the pool and everything, but I guess she has a problem with that, so she sent me this long ass, really long letter.
What did the letter say?
It's questioning me. It's questioning my authority and my.
What were the words used that she questioned?
Like.
Yeah.
So, Mrs. Milankovic questioned why my Croatian student was swimming and all of that in the pool where
That's okay. So what exactly? What part was she questioning?
Well, She was questioning about my student swimming on the pool
Okay,
because he's not a part of the family.
I see.
Yes.
And she sent this letter directly to you, right?
Yes.
Not anyone
And
else.
there's a lot of questioning and accusation that like I am not following the orders where like I am following the orders because I am part of the association. I am aware of the rules and everything.
Now, what do the rules state for the homeowners association?
So the rules in the pool, it says that you cannot let someone swim under 18 years old. But like the person that we brought or like that is living with us, the Croatian guy, is 18 years old.
Oh, okay.
So I don't have to supervise that. I mean, me and my husband come with him sometimes. However, like we can't supervise him all the time because he is a part of our family now. Do you get what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's definitely I don't think triggered her or like on sending me that like really questioning and like accusing.
How did you feel when after you read the letter?
Well, I feel so disrespected. Like, I know my rules. I basically know the rules of the apartment. I'm part of the homeowners association, and I will not break any rules. I am that kind of person who follows rules all the time because I believe they're there for our safety and for in order to be civil and cordial to one another.
So you really value rules,
Yes.
and you respectful of
Yes.
those specific rules.
And I believe that it did not I did not violate anything. And also, she tries to question my daughter's pass on the pool where she works. She also works at the homeowners association, so she should be able to come there because she teaches swimming classes for the kids and like people that comes there in general.
So are you saying that her complaint, just to make sure that I got this right?
Yes.
So her complaint from your recollection is that she's uncomfortable with, or she's
The
saying
Croatian
with
guy
the Croatian guy
that
that
is
he is,
staying with us.
that you're going against rules by not supervising him, and also
Which
and also
he
for
is-
your daughter.
Yes, the Croatian guy is 18 years old.
Okay.
I don't need to supervise him on anything
Okay.
because that's what the rules in the policy said on the pool.
Okay.
Yes.
And then your daughter, you're saying that she works for the association?
Yes, for the homeowners association.
Okay.
correct.
Okay. I see.
Does your daughter also live in the area as well?
No, actually, my daughter moved out like a couple years ago.
Um,
Yeah, but she lives close to the town. However, she works for the homeowners association, so she is allowed to go to the pool and teach everyone.
Okay. So clarity. So she's allowed to go to the pool
Yes.
because she
She's
works
part.
for the
Yes.
association. So it's
She's
completely
part.
separate from your
Yes.
household.
Yes, I believe that's a separate thing from my household.
Okay. And how did all this make you feel again?
I just feel like it questioned my authority because I'm also part of the association and we created those rules as members and and I know it and I feel like it's disrespectful. I feel like she does not trust me or anything. So,
have you guys had any contact prior to the situation?
well, I sent her another email.
Was this after the letter? that she
Yes,
sent?
and this time I made sure that I did not say anything that is really hurtful or anything because I feel like I believe that one of my philosophies is that when they hurt you, you don't have to hurt them back. So I sent her a really cordial and really professional email because I am that kind of person. I am not gonna lower down my standards for anyone. So yeah, and I came from really educated background, and I will never ever do anything that will hurt anyone. So
It sounds like you really value being respected and respecting.
Relationship as well.
And it sounds like you also value respecting the rules.
Yes, I really respect their rules. I came here not to fight and argue with her. I came here to explain
Yeah,
myself.
we think it's good that you both agreed to come to mediation just to
Yes.
sort this issue out.
Yeah, I'm willing to sort this issue out.
Okay, it's good. It's great.
I was just hurt, and I think that she owes me an apology for that. Because I will never do anything like that to her. And if I send a mail, I would never question it. Like, I will come to you in person. Because I respect our relationship, and there's about 2,700 residents that lives in the complex.
So what is your preferred method of communication? Do you prefer like face to face or anything?
I prefer face to face. Anything. I'm really versatile when it comes to communication. So yeah, I went ahead and sent her an email. Not email. I'm sorry, mail. I keep saying email because I work a lot too. I'm so sorry. But yeah.
So
I used to work
exactly
a lot in the office.
what did you say in your email?
Specifically, I said like that I explained myself, how my daughter like lives separate with me, and she works at the homeowners association, and that that I basically just clarified everything to her, and there's nothing that she should worry about. And if she wants any more information about the Croatian guy that is living with us, she's part of us. She is my sister-in-law's son.
Okay, so I just wanted to clarify something. Right after you wrote that letter back to her, was there any more contact between the two of you, or was it the like homeowners association suggesting that you two come to mediation?
I mean, I want to fix this relationship. That's why I came to mediation, and it's not for anyone. So.
Alright. Okay. Thank you for sharing us your side of the
Yes.
story. Is there anything else you would like to share with us?
That's
Alright.
all I
How
can
about
share.
we move over to Mrs. Milinkovic, and I just want to thank you again for allowing Mr. Hansen to speak. And now it would be great for you to share your side of the story.
Okay, so we're both part of, as he said, he kind of covered a lot of things, but some of the things that he said were totally incorrect. We're both part of the homeowners association, and since we're both part of the homeowners association, we have different rules that we have to abide by. And in order for everything, not to be so chaotic and for everything to be uniform and to be of standard, I feel like people definitely need to follow the rules and abide by the rules. I feel like, if you break one rule, then, another rule kind of goes along and it gets broken. And so I really try to keep and maintain all of the rules that go on in the complex.
It looks like for both of you guys, rules are very important and something that you both highly value.
Yeah, and so I just want to make sure that we're definitely both on track with following the rules and abiding by the rules. And if I see that the rules are not being abided by, that's why we were brought to mediation today, in order for us to talk about rules. And so I would just really like to enforce the rules and what's going on. In our apartment complex, there's a preschool, and then there's a pool area and stuff. And so the pool area is quite a popular area, but since we are a part of a homeowners association, we pay money every month, a couple of $100 just to be a part of the homeowners association, and we take great pride in being a part of the homeowners association. It's like our agreement that we have with everybody in the neighborhood, so that everything can flow and be steady. But then when rules get broken, it gets kind of chaotic. And
What rules were broken? Because you keep going back to rules, so I just want to make sure that I'm on the same page. So what rules?
So the rules that were being broken were basically he is bringing his guests over, and they're not being attended in the pool, attended at all times.
Okay. We're just gonna have Mr. Milinkovic speak right now, but once she's done, we can get back to you. Just if you need some things to clarify and whatnot.
So basically, he had a Croatian, one of his guests. I know that he's not part of the family because he is from Croatia. And I'm very familiar with Croatians and their history. And since he's
What
from,
what are you familiar with their history? Can you elaborate on that?
well, I know that he's like a study abroad student and that he attends community college here, and that he goes to. That he's like living with them, but as he said right now that he's a family member. I feel like he's not a family member, and that's like where he's having trouble understanding is that he's not a part of the homeowners association. Like he doesn't pay into that. He's not accounted for in the household because he is a guest and he's not like a permanent family member. He's from Croatia.
What does do you know what the rule is for? So if someone is staying, I believe you said 2 years.
I think you said 2 weeks.
He's living with you though for how long? How long is he planning on living with you for?
For about 2 years.
Okay. So, is there a rule for?
Are you agreeing with him? Or is it okay
No, I'm trying to get
in
information
so-
from him just to clarify. So, so is there a rule or a certain amount of time that allows someone to go from a guest to a part of that household?
And there's no rules.
Wait,
for that.
we got.
I
I just want to make
I'm
sure.
just trying to clarify.
Thank you.
Well, not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
See, that's what I'm talking about, you guys. Like, there's no rules
Wait,
for the home.
no,
After
I
she
mean like
said-
when she said like with like the amount of time, like I don't know like specific. I mean I don't want to give an estimate and I don't want to lie.
There's
right? I
no
don't-
rules.
Yeah,
Okay.
So
Oh,
That's all
listen.
I'm doing the right thing.
So, because both of you guys care so much about rules, I just wanted to see if there was a rule on that specifically, just to help you guys both kind of get some clarity. But since there's not one that we can recall from the top of our head, maybe in the future we can look it up. But I don't want to interrupt you anymore. If you could please continue, I just was curious on that.
yeah, well, I mean in regards to the rule, I mean yeah, we can definitely look up like what the time limit like is. I can definitely look that up, and I would definitely like to know myself personally. But from what I understand is that they must be a part of the family and not a guest, because I mean, and that's like I feel like that's the reason why the whole rule is into place. So what the rule is basically if you're at the pool and you're with someone who is under the age of 18, they must be accompanied at all times. So I mean, children, regardless if they are guests or if they're not guests, they must be accompanied at the pool. All children. But not only that, the exception to the rule is that if you do have a guest, they don't get their own pass. They need to be present with them, and so that's why he has his guest coming over here from Croatia who's not part of the family, like utilizing and using the pool, and he's there on a consistent basis, and that's something that I'm not okay with, and I see that the rule is being broken there, so I feel like he just needs to understand that that's not okay with what's going on.
So, are you saying that are you concerned and a little bit feel like taken advantage of the fact that you feel like the rule is being broken?
Yeah, well, yeah, I definitely feel like he's taking that advantage, and like when I say taking advantage, I speak on the behalf of the whole neighborhood, because I feel like he's taking advantage of the whole homeowners association. Like let's just say like if we all had guests who came like left and right and threw like parties all the time, or just consistently had people over, then it gets kind of messy and it gets chaotic and they're not being accompanied, and then I feel like the pool then it becomes open to the public, and what they need to understand is that it's part of a homeowners association, and that we're not this is not open to the public, it is a private area and we pay money into that. And so I feel uncomfortable about that student, about him being at the pool, and he's not a permanent guest.
There's
Sorry,
nothing
did you
wrong
say-
with him.
Did you say that you feel uncomfortable with him there as
That
a
is
permanent
not
guest?
fair.
Um,
That is not
what
fair.
part?
We're just
What
listening to
part
who's
of
saying
that is uncomfortable to you?
Well,
if you could elaborate
well,
on
like
that.
I was telling you, like if you were to understand like what the rules are, is that he's breaking the rule by having his guests be there, and that's not okay because he's breaking the rule, and so he needs to understand that. I'm just trying to tell you that like for you to have your guest there and he's not accompanied.
He's
I just
not
want
us.
you to direct
He
it
is not
to
us.
us.
I am so sorry.
So
So
what
at
is
this
Okay.
time, we're
He's
not
part
ready
of our
for
family.
we're not ready for you guys to speak to each other yet. Right now, we just want to hear your side of the story. So whatever you're
Well,
saying,
he
just
is part
please.
of our family, and she
just
needs to stop
please
calling
direct it
her
to
a guest,
them.
calling him a guest. And I feel like she has such a hatred on. Do you have any hatred against Croatian people? Because
Let's.
That's how
We're
you're
gonna
coming
stop
up.
this
Okay.
right here. just because we want to make sure that we keep control of this mediation, because we want you guys to both reap the benefits of mediation, and so when it gets off railed, you know, we don't want that to happen right now. If it's okay with you, I would like to call a caucus and be able to just kind of dive a little bit deeper into both of your guys' stories, your histories, your backgrounds, and kind of what you're feeling, if that's okay. Sound good? I would love to start with you, if you don't mind, since we didn't really get through your whole story.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, great. So if you can continue just with kind of elaborate with what you were talking about. I feel like maybe there was something there, some kind of underlying thing, but I'm not sure. I would love to hear from you a little bit more.
Well, I didn't get to finish my story, but like what I like have questions about with mediation today is just a matter of like him being able to understand the roles that he does have, in fact, have a guest there, and I think that maybe we need to dig a little bit deeper and pull up the rules to see what constitute as a guest and not having a guest. I mean, if everybody brings over their guests, then I mean, like, it's no longer a private pool of people are being over there and they're accompanied like without a pass. You know, that's what I have a problem with. And then it's just you don't know who you're bringing into the neighborhood because, you know, there's things like, what is it, Amber's Law, like things to keep away sexual predators, things of that nature. And then also, I mean, he is from a different country. He's from Croatia. And I mean, that kind of, that does bother me because my family was afflicted in World War II by Croatians, like with ultra-nationalism and Nazis and what have you. So that's definitely a big scare and a big area of concern for me with my safety and what he's not understanding.
Would you say that this is very personal for you?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, this definitely is like a personal matter.
So how do you feel about a person of Croatian
Well, like
descent?
to give you a little bit of like history on it, like what happened with World War II. I mean, my people were afflicted and they were put into concentration camps back in the days. And I feel like Croatians, they just think that they're so privileged and like with all the Roman Catholicism that was going on and everything. And I feel like they just feel like they're so privileged and that they can be able to do whatever they want to do and take advantage. And I'm seeing things from like my heritage and from my history coming back up again and being able to just push us around and tell us what we're doing. My family lived in concentration camps, and I feel like I'm successful now and I'm a part of the homeowners association, and I'm not gonna relive history. History repeats itself, and I'm not gonna live in a concentration camp again and be told when I can piss and when I can poop. I'm not.
So this Croatian student of your neighbors, how is he bringing up this past of yours?
Well, he's from Croatia, and I just feel like the way that they are and the way that they act, they feel like they're just so entitled to everything, and like they can just do whatever they want and feel like so privileged, and they need to understand that there's rules that they have to abide by, and they're not over the rules. And he also needs to understand that Mr. Hansen needs to understand that it's not okay, like just because he's cool or he's buddy with management, that he can get over and that he can get a free ride, because that's not okay, and I feel like disrespected.
So how do you feel like Mr. Hansen is getting a free ride?
Can you describe his relationship with management for us?
Well, I just feel like he's getting a free ride because he has a relationship with the management. I mean, he can, like, the management is like letting them slide. They have people that they come there and they monitor them and they know that they work at the swimming pool and whatnot. But I mean, like with working at the swimming pool, it's just like, you know, there's rules,
Well,
like
I'm
there's
gonna stop you
safety
right there.
issues.
Sorry. Can you back it up just a little bit? So with management, he's working with management, and what are about the rules in the pool? Can you?
Well, the rules or what they say in the pool is that they must be accompanied by a guest. Like they must. I mean, if there's a guest, they must be accompanied by like someone that actually lives there, someone who has a pass for the pool.
Okay, someone who's actually a resident.
Right.
Okay, so just to clarify, so Mr. Hansen, to you, you're offended or you're upset by the fact that he has a Croatian student, which brings up kind of a dark past for you, and you feel like he's taking advantage of his relationship with the management team. Okay, and can I go back to so why are you here? What do you want to get out of mediation today?
Well, what I was saying is what I would like to get out of mediation today is just for me to be able to go into like let him know that he can't override the rules, and for him to know what the rules are, and that he's not able to just bring over guests here, and that he must have a pass here. And if he's going to have a student here who's living permanently, then he needs to be present with him and abide by the rules. That's my main thing, is he needs to be present with him, because we don't know this person. He's from a totally different country. I mean, and Croatia, if you know people from Croatia, like they were part of the Nazis and the nationalism and fundamentalism and things of that nature. And like that just brings up my history of like so much, and it brings me back to my past. And I thought that we were past that, and I don't want to be a part of like people. I don't want to like. I mean, I don't mind. I feel like I'm not racist, and I love everybody. But I just feel like they need to feel like they abide by the rules. I mean, he doesn't respect the rules whatsoever, and I think that because of his history, he's been told that like nobody's ever been able to tell him no, tell the Croatian student no, that like you're not above the law and that you have to abide by the rules, and you can't just go around like doing whatever you want to do. Like you're an American now, you need to follow the rules. And what I'm trying to get across to them is that if he's in the pool, then he needs to be accompanied with a guest, because we don't know him. We don't know this stranger. I mean, I feel like I have every right to call the police and to tell them that there's a stranger over here in my pool.
Have you ever had communications? What has your communication or experience been like?
It's been with an email.
Have you had any? But with the exchange student, what has your communication been like with the exchange student? Anything?
Well, he's just very like snooty, and he just feels like so entitled to being in the pool. And I mean, what am I supposed to say to him? Because I feel like I should just call the police on him, and I feel like that's why we're here at mediation today.
So has he said anything that
Or
words?
Was there like what kind of vibe? Like, did you get like a certain vibe coming off?
Yeah,
of it?
that he was just very arrogant.
But was there a conversation that you had? Can you explain the verbal conversation that you've had with this Croatian student?
Well, I mean, I don't feel like what I'm saying is like I don't feel comfortable like with like being able to share like that conversation.
I see. So
Just you guys did have a conversation together, you and the Croatian student.
Well, what I'm saying is like I don't feel like entitled. Like I don't like he thinks that he can be there, and I feel like I shouldn't have to go and like have that conversation with him.
Okay.
I'm trying to talk to him right now in mediation. That's what I'm trying to do, because by me talking to the Croatian student, that doesn't help anything, because he's not responsible. I'm talking to I thought that I did the right thing by going to the person who was responsible for the guest being in the pool without a pass.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to clarify. I wasn't sure if there had been like a conversation that had sparked, the past with this specific Croatian student. So I just wanted to clarify on that. Thank you. I appreciate it. So let's dive a little bit deeper into your feelings about this Croatian past. Can you explain a little bit more about that? How long ago was it, or how is it making you feel now, specifically?
Well, what I had just said and what I had just brought up is just like with their history and my family being in internment concentration camps, and then it's just like I don't like know like they like I mean there's Nazis and I mean there's undercover people, and it's like nobody kind of wants to look in the elephant in the room, and it's like I can't overlook that there is like I want to say like an intruder who is in our pool without a guest pass, and we don't know who he is, and so that's why I feel uncomfortable with that, because of the history of those people, and we don't know exactly what bloodlines he has and what ties he has in Croatia, and so that's very uncomfortable for me. But I feel like the main point of today is just to be able to understand that my main point to get across is that I mean, it doesn't matter whether or not like I talk to him or I speak to him. I'm trying to speak to the person who is the homeowner and the person who is responsible for this person, and to let them know that it's not okay for him to do that. And so that's why like when we were talking right now, he kept talking back and forth, as you can see, and I wanted him to know that and you asked me what I want to get out of mediation today, and what I would like to get out of mediation today is for him to understand that he is breaking the rules, and he needs to understand the rules and abide by the rules, and we need to look at ways that we can enforce enforce the rules, whether or not I have to bring in law enforcement. And so that's why we're here at mediation today, just so we can get a better understanding and a clearer picture of where of us both stand and where I'm at, and I want to know exactly where he's at and why he feels like he can be there. But what I feel like hearing him, what he had to say now, is just a matter of him being able to go, and he was telling me that he feels like he is a part of the family. But like I said, he's from Croatia. We don't know what documentation he has. I know that he's taking classes at community college and he's here for this period of time. But while he's here at this period of time, he needs to be able to abide by the rules. And so what I need to get out of mediation today is I need to know that I can feel relaxed, because in my home I don't feel relaxed living, or not in my home, but in my neighborhood I don't feel relaxed and for me to be able to use all of the amenities that I pay money for. And so I want him to be able to understand that no, like you can't have your guest here who's unaccompanied. You need to be there presently, but he's not understanding that. So can you guys, as the mediators, help me, or like to relay the information over to him, like the rules that he's breaking?
Yeah, we see what you're saying. It just looks like there's a lot of miscommunication here. I feel like we just need to clarify on some more issues between the two, so both of you guys are on the same page. Because it looks like they feel like the rule breaking. I feel like they're not on the same page for that.
Yeah, I see that here. So
Yeah.
obviously both, respect rules, but I also feel, or at least it sounds like to me that you have two different sets of what the rule is.
Yes.
So it sounds like, he's considers his exchange student as part of the household.
Yeah.
So that might be something that maybe.
And I see that.
Okay, and I'm definitely hearing from you that you are, you're feeling a lack of respect, and you're feeling, a lack of understanding and safety because of this Croatian student. Maybe it would be important just to talk about it a little bit more, especially with your counterpart. Are you willing to discuss that in mediation and outside of this caucus?
To discuss what?
Discuss your fears about your
the
past.
history. Yes.
Well, I just don't want to come off as being racist or being prejudiced or anything like that. And I think that, like, when you say it, like, and when you say it out loud, like, it sounds like that. But it's like that's really what I feel deep down inside. So I just don't want to come off as that. But I just feel like if that's what it takes for him to know of why I feel so uncomfortable, because I know that he's probably wondering, like, what's the big deal? But he needs to understand that, for first and foremost, for one, that he's breaking the rules, and second of all, it shouldn't even be like a matter of like why I don't want him here. It's just a matter that he's not a student. But if you were to ask him specifically why I don't want him here, I mean, he's a Croatian student and he's not a resident here. He's a visitor, and he's on the premises without being accompanied by anyone. And this is like private property. We're part of a homeowners association.
Okay. Is there a way that you could verbalize that? Because I'm hearing what you're saying is that you're not comfortable outright saying that to him.
Well,
'cause
like,
you don't want
I
it to
mean,
come off
like,
that
I
way.
mean, like, I don't want to come off like that. So, I mean, how would I be able to say that without sounding so racist and so prejudiced? Because you see how he is and how he talks, like he's gonna call me a racist and say that I'm this and that.
It's really up to you, but I would maybe suggest using an iMessage. Like I feel blank.
You can talk about what you mentioned to us, how it just stirred up some like feelings and memories for you. It just like
I would
Yeah.
I would suggest talking slowly and thinking about each word, and
Could you be able to tell him?
I think it would be better if you were able to tell him, since we're here as just to facilitate communication, and we don't have a bias stance on this issue. We're completely neutral. We're really just here to kind of let you go through the process, and kind of help you along. So at this point, what would you like to see moving forward in this mediation? How would you like to approach these issues?
Well, I mean, I'll tell him. I'll let him know,
Okay.
and I'll use the I statements.
Okay.
that would be very helpful.
Yeah. And what would you like to see, like, in the future of this mediation?
Well, I would like to see for him to understand that he's breaking the rules and that that he needs to abide by the rules and that he's not above the law.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything else that, I noticed we didn't touch on the subject of his daughter. Was that another
Well, I
button for
mean, yeah,
you?
because his daughter's not technically a resident here. I mean, it's just him and like his immediate family. I know she's part of the immediate family too, but she was quite a bother too with her being present. Like he just needs to understand the rules that he can't have his guests here.
Yeah, because she's not a resident.
Okay. And I think I heard him mention that she works for the association, so she's an employee.
So that's what I was saying. Is like he just feels like he's above the law because of like who his buddies are, and who he knows, and he's not above the law. And so I feel like I have they're taking away my rights and my privileges. I feel like if it was a different person, it'd be different. But since he kind of knows the ins and outs of it, and he should know what the rules are, since he does have people who he knows who works for the home association.
Okay. Well, so I think coming back to mediation, so it sounds like you want to discuss, for one, the importance of the rules and kind of getting a better understanding of what exactly those rules are. Two,
she would like to have the rules enforced.
Right, have the rules enforced, but also address the Croatian student, because it sounds like the Croatian student will be there for 2 years, and we're only 2 weeks into those 2 years. What would you like to see in the future for that relationship, at least with the Croatian student, in the future? Keep that in mind, and then also addressing the daughter coming for.
Well, what I would like to see is for him just to be able to abide by the rules and for him to always accompany his guests. And honestly, I just feel like that, the reason why I'm being like that is because if you really want to know, I'm glad that this is confidential, but I don't want him here because of the history of the Croatian people, and it's just the reason why I'm saying that I don't want him here is because, like I said, it's because of the history, and because I feel like if he abides by the rules, it's going to be difficult for him to have his guests here. If you really want to know, I just point blank period, I don't want him to be here. So that's why I'm really trying to make it hard and difficult for him to have the guests here, because it's just not part of what the rules are, and I just don't want him here. And so that's why I feel like that's a way for me just to get him away, and for him not to stay here, because I don't feel comfortable with that. But I don't know how I could just permanently let him know that I don't want him to stay here.
Is there a way that you can think of being more comfortable, getting him mad?
Well, if he were to be able to accompany his guests, it's just not going to happen. We're not going to hold hands and be like, "Kumbaya, my Lord," and I'm not going to forget the history of what happened. It's just not going to happen. We're not going to live in harmony. It's not going to be a matter if I were to understand, what the Croatian people and that they're different around, because it's you don't understand, my history and all the things that my ancestors went through, and it's just, it's not going to happen. And, look at the way that they're already acting. They've already, showed that. And so it's just not going to happen. We're not going to be on one accord, live in peace and harmony. I'm not going to be okay with that, because I just feel like I just have post-traumatic stress from that.
So would you say that you would feel more safe as long as that Croatian student is supervised by Mr. Hansen?
Well, that's what I'm asking for, because that's the rules. There's nothing that says that I can be able to go and just to kick him out permanently, right? There's no way that I can say don't have your guests over. I'll give him that. He is a homeowner. He pays his dues just like I do. He pays his mortgage, and we're all adults here, and I feel like, if you want to have people over, you did buy a house, whatever goes on in his house, he can bring through whoever he wants to bring through there. But as far as the common areas and stuff like that, I don't feel comfortable with that. And so honestly, if you want to know, I don't want him here.
Well, I commend you for speaking the truth. I know that was very hard for you and kind of hard to come to terms with.
I know it sounds bad.
No, we're not here to judge. These are your feelings, and we just want you to be able to really reap the benefits of this mediation, and to whatever you want to see in mediation happen. We want that for you. We want everyone to be happy. We also want it for Mr. Hansen as well. So, you know, if there's, again, touch on the iMessages that we talked about earlier, and maybe, you know,
Just
listening to Mr.
Yeah.
Hansen too, I think might help as well, just kind of hearing both sides of the story. But I really do commend you and thank you for sharing that. Is there anything else at all? Because we really want to make sure that everything's on the table before going back into mediation. That's it? Okay. All right.
So we're gonna call Mr. Hansen in, and once we are done with him, we'll call both of you two back in, and then hopefully we can reach a better understanding.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Hansen.
Hello, hi.
Okay. Well, thank you for waiting. We really do appreciate that. We definitely want to give you your chance to talk to and kind of just make sure that we have everything on the table. So please, you know, if there's any thoughts that you had while waiting out there.
I feel like she has so much hatred to like Croatian people, because I can feel that based on her, based on how she talked about it earlier. I feel like that is not right. You know, I feel like we're abiding by the law. I am not. I do like what I told you. Like we put those laws for a reason, and we're gonna follow it. And just by her email, I can show you right now what she said to me. She questioned a lot of the things that we did. You can look at, yeah, here we go. And you can also look at by the way I responded.
There's specific, you know, keywords that really upset you.
It really makes my blood boil. Like, how can you ask me?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I know you guys are having a conversation. We actually have a staff meeting in here. So I don't. Are you guys doing like
We're filming.
doing a project or?
We're filming.
I'm
right
so
now.
sorry. Yeah. Is it for? I'm sorry. We have to.
Yeah, do not.
Are you guys? Is it for a project or?